here in the crowd, my elder sister, Dana, my mother, Brenda McCree Hunt, fellow inductees, good evening. I want to say congratulations to two special fellow inductees, Stephanie and Leslie, who I had the pleasure of seeing play. And I want to say that when I left Trinidad, yeah, girls used to play soccer, but you don't see girls play soccer like these girls. You know, they caught my eye immediately and it stood out to me, and it was really a pleasure seeing you guys out there. Growing up in Trinidad and Tobago, playing the sport I love, a lot of emphasis was placed on the end result. When you get home from a game, the first question would be asked, did you win? The follow-up question would be, did you score? If the second question was not answered in the affirmative, especially if it was a high-scoring game, it was common to hear, you mean all those goals were scored and you didn't score any, you couldn't score one? It didn't matter how I affected the game otherwise. Now, I grew up playing with an extremely talented group of boys, and under the tutelage of a guy called Neville Frederick and another called Gregory Steele. Two of them assisted me tremendously, giving me their time to help us develop as players, free of charge. I don't remember the question of assists coming up until I came to Wheeling. I noticed immediately that when the goal was announced, the goal scorer was announced, the player who assisted would also be recognized. I was pleasantly surprised. Yes, from the statistics announced, I did score some goals, but I also understood the significance of my assists. And in order for me to be standing here today, there are a number of people whose assists I must recognize. Firstly, to Jimmy, for giving me the opportunity in the first place. Fellow alumni and Hall of Famer Ruskin Mark made the recommendation, but Jimmy didn't have to take me in. I'm sure there were other options, but Jimmy was committed to keeping that link between Wheeling and Trinidad and Tobago. I never doubted that Jimmy wanted the absolute best for me, and I wanted to repay him for not only the faith he had in me, but the genuine care he showed to me. When he called to tell me I was received this award, I told him that I was proud. He had that smile on his face and he said, I'm proud too. Those words were extremely significant to me because the last thing I wanted to do was disappoint Jimmy. Jimmy, it is impossible for me to thank you enough for how you have affected the course of my life. You allowed a boy to fulfill the childhood dream and helped me along a pathway that has led me to where I am today. Not only at this podium, accepting this honorable award, but in my life. Thank you. So my college teammates and friends, thanks to James E. and Sekou for looking after me. When you get somewhere new and you still have a connection to home, it's extremely helpful. I had two Trinidadian big brothers looking out for me. James would always stop by to check in and give advice and support throughout my time here. So thank you, James. So I was kicked out of the infamous 440 Lounge by Neil Holloway, my freshman year. I remember hearing him shouting, "Get out of my," insert expletive, "lounge." But to be fair, he found me a roommate after getting fed up of me living in his lounge. A couple of years later, guess who didn't have a room? The same Neil Holloway. And guess whose lounge he had to move into? Mine and Joel Bailey's. He moved in with future Hall of Famer Leon Brown. And that's where a brotherhood was formed. And that allowed us to flourish. All of us, Neil, Leon, Joel, me. I left my brother in Trinidad, and obviously that was difficult. I need to thank him as well for giving me the drive to be a good role model and for being a great companion throughout my life. A few years later though, I had a few brothers. And I want to thank them and my teammates for assisting me in my achievements. To be a winning team, as we were, you have to have good offensive players, but you need players to facilitate and support and protect them. My teammates did that for me. Some both on and off the field, and I want to thank all of them for that. Now, Joel's talents on the football field are ridiculous. He's a fellow Hall of Famer and has a scoring record here at the university, scoring record. Yes, records are made to be broken, but I don't think anyone is touching that. What you may not know, and what I didn't know either at the time of his arrival here, was that Joel Bailey hated my guts. To say we had a history would be a stretch because my memories of him before he came to Wheeling were vague. My high school would beat his high school by a large margin, let's say 5 or 6 to 1. He would have the 1, we would move on. This was our history. I knew him as a good player, but I had little thought of him otherwise. Joel, however, found a lot of time for loathing me, and I could understand since he's been on the losing end of every meeting between us. But again, I never spared him a second thought. So when Jimmy asked me about Joel, I was honest. I told him that the boy is a goal scorer. I used to kick his through high school, but he would always get a goal in. When he arrived, I tried to make sure that Joel was comfortable and happy. I didn't know that during those first few moments of interaction that he could have killed me. Thank you, Joel, for not killing me in my sleep and for being a great support to me during my time here. Not to mention taking a few of my bad passes and turning them into assists. A great friend and brother to me, still to this day, along with Neil and Leon. Thank you guys. But what is all this for? What does being inducted into this group mean? To me, it means that I have left my mark. I have not let those who gave me this awesome opportunity down. And it means that now my children can have something else that they can aspire to. It means that my family, parents, and siblings can be proud. Which leads me to the real all-time leader in assists, my mother. Of course, she was my biggest supporter. That's a given. She would push me to put in the extra work to succeed. Being involved in sports herself, she understood that you had to work hard, harder than your peers to be successful. I was the one with the dream. She was the one with the plan. Once, in a heated argument with my dad regarding my want, he wanted us to be grounded from playing soccer. She said, over my dead body, with my brother and me be stopped from playing. Her reasoning was that if we were to get scholarships, we had to be good, and to be good, we had to play. I remember my last year of high school, the year that got me the opportunity to come here. My mother took my brother and me to train in the morning before we went to school. Not at all common at the time, but she did it. And we benefited. She did it all then, and she's still trying to do it all now. Having her here today to be a part of this means everything to me. And I want to thank you publicly, Mom, for all that you have done for me. Wheeling Jesuit will forever be etched into my heart. And I am extremely honored to be forever etched into its history.